All right, everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Acceptable Accuracy. I am one of your co-hosts, Tyler.
And I am the other co-host, Felipe.
That's right, Felipe the Fox. It's awesome. So, of
Felipe,
course,
ooh,
what?
that Felipe the Fox. I don't know this Felipe the Fox guy, but that sounds awesome. I'm gonna
So
go with that from now
there, there's
on.
like there was a in college when we would have conferences or like big events, we would have like a guy dressed up in a fox costume, and he was Felipe the Fox. I finally found out who Felipe the Fox is, and come to find out, we both know who this is.
I have no idea.
It is,
I'm gonna Google this after we're done.
yeah. Well, this is
Yeah.
this is just in my college, my
Oh,
tiny
okay,
little
gotcha. So
Bible
it's not.
college.
He wasn't
No,
doing it after like a. Okay, gotcha.
no, it's not like some famous person. It's my coworker.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, so it's so funny. So I was like, wait, what was music? Yeah, it was me. I'm like, how did I? Of course it was you. I didn't even think about that. But either way, all that to say, complete sidetrack aside. So
That's
today
okay.
we are doing part two of the Zombie Invitational. Last week or last episode, we had Kyle, our guest host or ghost or G host or whatever he wants to call himself or at least his call sign. And we talked about how on day one and how he actually won the whole thing. He won day one, day two, and really the whole thing overall. Today we're talking about day two. We're going to do a quick breakdown. So, what is the difference between day one and day two, Phil?
Everybody loves day one, and most people hate day two, except for me. I love
100%.
day two.
Good for you. I'm glad you love day two. I hate it.
All kidding aside, day two is actually pistol and shotgun day. Where again, if you haven't listened to the first episode, go back and listen to that number one. But day one is rifle pistol. So this again is a little bit different than other three gun matches, where typically if you're doing a three gun match, usually you're shooting all three guns during a single day. Sometimes you'll do them all three during one stage. Sometimes you'll do just pistol rifle at one stage, or pistol shotgun one stage, or rifle shotgun another stage, right? But
Mhm.
this day, because it does require retention of your firearm, your long gun, in this case being shotgun day, has to be retained via sling as well. So you're moving in and out of stages, in and around barricades, and you'll be switching back and forth typically on any given stage between pistol and shotgun. So makes it a little difficult to carry both firearms at the same time. So again, a three gun match, but not in the traditional sense.
I mean, what if I just had like a floating stock or floating race adapter and just put it in a suitcase, call it a day, or a briefcase? I mean, boom, right
Um,
there.
I mean, you can do what you want, but I
Or it
mean,
could be like Rambo or whatever. Just have just a shotgun and a AR in my other hand. Even though I don't even know if you did that or not. Fun fact: I've never seen Rambo. So,
I haven't either. It
oh,
was like
all
out
right.
when I was really little, so and that's
I
saying a
was
lot.
even born yet, so
Well, yeah, I'm sure the first ones I wasn't born either, but
that's fair. But either
we
way, so
digress.
of course it's day two, and I think a part of it is there's even that aspect of it's day two. I mean, you're tired. You had a day before kind of going through everything. Of course, whatever context you are, whether you're camping, for us, it was just a bunch of us jammed, packed like sardines inside RV, which I'm still very thankful for. Unless you're Phil, who's just at the top bunk all by himself. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding, man.
I mean, I welcomed people to come join me up there, just saying, but everybody turned me down. So that's on them.
Hey, I have a so I just bought like one of those like 4 foot body pillars. Maybe I'll take you up on that offer, and we'll just leave it in between us next year.
Fair enough. Except for I think the motorhome's getting sold next year.
I
So
know
we'll
exactly to
have to figure it.
you.
No, we're just putting some money down on a house, so that's not gonna happen.
I know, and I'm saving up for a wedding, so not happening.
Yep.
So, but either way, so how did I guess comparing day one and day two? Did it feel any different? Do you feel like morale was better or different, or what? What are your thoughts?
So that's actually a great question, Tyler, and I'm gonna get curious to hear your thoughts on this after in a second here. Um, they when you're doing a 2 day match,
Hmm.
which we've done a few before, um, like I think our area 5, I think I did a 2 day match once. It your performance, like firearms difference aside, your performance can have an impact from day one. Can kind of, if you let it affect you, it can carry over. Like the mindset can kind of carry over from day one to day two. So if
Mhm.
you had a bad day one, if you're unable to reset properly for day two, then, like let's say you had a bad rifle pistol day, that can translate into shotgun pistol day. And not a lot of people run shotgun like they do a rifle. So if you're already down on yourself and you're already like in a negative mind space, your shotgun day is going to be even worse than
Mhm.
your rifle day, considering those two factors, right? The fact that, again, that if you had a bad day, plus people aren't going to go to the shotgun.
Mhm.
I personally love shotgun day, but I also solve the thing I hate the most about shotguns, because most people, when you're running three gun, you think of shotguns typically being a tube gun,
Mhm.
where you have to, you can traditionally, if you're loading a tube, it's a single load. There are people that have figured out how to do double loads or quad loads or even using sticks to fill a whole tube up, right?
Mhm.
Um, but for me, and you can kind of talk about what you used this year as well, Tyler. But I switched over to MagFed shotgun
Yours.
last year, and I know, but I switched to MagFed last year and absolutely loved it. And as a result, Brent actually, who's been on the podcast before, he also switched to a MagFed shotgun, and had a better experience until the last stage, which we'll probably touch on a little bit. But for me, I kind of looked at what the major. Are we going to get into gear later? So maybe I should just wait on this a second.
That's
Or do you want
fair.
to dig into this now? We'll talk about it later. Okay.
That's
Anyway,
valid.
so day one, day two. Obviously, day two people tend to they're like I said, they're tired.
Mhm.
The people don't typically like shotgun day. There are less stages on day two. This year there were 6 on day one, 5 on day
Mhm.
two.
Yep.
So the day itself is a little bit shorter. Anyway, with all that to say,
In
I love day
theory.
two. I get super pumped into it. What are your thoughts, Tyler?
I mean, overall, I'd say for me, as Phil knows this and my team, I didn't train as much or really at all for this competition this year, which is that's on me. I'm still extremely happy with how I placed based off of that, and goes back to I was like I'm just gonna have to go back to my fundamentals. But I'd say for day two, I did borrow Phil's shotgun. We did talk about this beforehand. I bought a chest rig and everything, so but it was definitely really clear where my weaknesses were. Like my dump pouch, which I never trained with, I was having issues with it. My chest rig, I was having some issues with it. But really, my biggest issue was reloading that thing because it is an AK style shotgun. And I'm an AR shooter. I don't think I've ever actually shot out of an AK before. I got close once years ago at my buddy's bachelor party, but then I was about to grab and I was about to take some shots, but then we had to do a ceasefire and go cold because of everything that was kind of going on, like the bridal party. They're all like, "You guys stop shooting! You're shaking the walls." I'm like, "We weren't," because we're on his family's property, which had like
Mm.
20, 30 acres in North Carolina, in the middle of nowhere. So we're like, it wasn't, but we're like, it's fine. They're stressed. We'll stop. And I'm like, man, I want to shoot the AK, but oh, let's say like for the life of me, I couldn't figure out the rock and locks. I still remember like first stage, I was having issues. I timed out. I was already frustrated. I'm like, Phil, I can't use this mag. And literally, Phil, of course, goes right after me. He's like this. I'm like, you jerk, which was great. I'm like, fine, that's on me. I guess in this case, it truly was the Indian, not the arrow. So I will give
Yeah,
it that.
that's fair. And I know we practiced a little bit ahead of time, and it was funny because I basically gave you the shotgun, and I said, "Hey, like, what questions do you have? What do you want to learn about it? You practice with it." And I remember we kind of finished. And you're like, "Oh, I'm good," and I was like, "Dude, I feel like we were only here for like a half hour." And I'm sure it was like an hour, because time at the range is always like, you're different. It's where you're like time warp, right?
Oh, for
But
sure, yeah.
I was like, "All right, that's fine if that's what you want to do." Uh, that's on you. But you have other things on your mind that are more important than shooting. So to
Mhm.
be fair,
Yeah, I
um,
was pretty distracted during that time because there was a lot like going up. But
yeah,
either way, like it was one of those things where like I know I can shoot just fine. Like I know that. It's once again, it's just understanding gear and just getting used to it more and just training and practicing. Because as anyone who listens to the podcast knows, I lean more towards pick an operating system and stick with it and become a master at that. That's where I lean towards. But I do definitely respect someone like Kyle, who is a much better shooter than me, who talks about how He's like, no, I want to be able to like, what was it like? He's like, I want to be able to pick up any gun and be able to shoot 100 yards with it. I'm like,
Yeah.
or whatever he says. I can't remember. I don't want
Oh,
to
that sounds about right. That sounds like a
miscategorize
Kyle
him.
thing. Yeah.
That does, but it's more like he's like he wants to be able to pick up any gun and be able to shoot it easily, like know how to function check it, be able to clear it, be able to reload it, have no issues, and be extremely proficient with it. Which someone like Kyle, he is. That part of it too comes with his military background, so which makes sense. But that's
Yeah.
not my context either, because I literally got into guns. Well, I guess, and now at this point, 5 years ago, but
Right.
for me, I'm like, I'm just gonna stick with my shadow systems, stick with an AR, and have fun. So,
Yeah. Which I guess kind of brings us into gear a little bit.
hmm
So last year I purchased the Lynx 12, which is the shotgun that we shared this year,
hmm
and it's cloned after a Sega 12. You can't get Segas or Vepers anymore unless you buy them third party from like used or whatever, or just get lucky and some vendor still has one.
hmm
Because they're Russian made and imported, right? I don't know, and this is probably just my ignorance, but I don't know whether or not there's anybody else that's making clones of them from like other areas that used to be Russian territories, because there's a lot of countries that make AKs, right, that aren't necessarily Russia.
hmm
The Lynx 12 is made in China, which again, people are like, why are you running a Chinese firearm? It's going to be garbage. Truth be told, this one I actually did a bunch of research into without going really far into it. The understanding is that this one's actually made at Type 56 factory, which, for those who don't know their history, Type 56 is the AK that was actually given to the Vietnamese to fight against the Americans in the Vietnam War. It's generally known to be very reliable AK, right? So they know what they're doing. Um, the parts are roughly interchangeable. There's a few things here and there that are different, but Dissident Arms, who is a company known for modifying Segas and Vepers and Lynxes, those are the three brands that they do, including like Kalashnikov, like USA, which is I would just include to be a Sega. Anyway, they modify all those. So I was like, well, if they're doing it, it must be good, because there are some other clones made in China that are not as good.
hmm
But for those of you who know, mag-fed shotguns have problems. We'll get into that a little bit. There's no perfect mag-fed shotgun. Um, the AK or the Sega are probably the closest, just because they've been around for so long, and it's a platform that tends to um, reliably run shotgun shells as well as you can. From the AR perspective, there hasn't really been enough development in that market. There's like a lot of Turkish stuff that comes in, which is one that Brent ran, and it ran okay until the last stage. And then
I
there's
know. I wonder if he got
there's
that fixed.
I actually talked to him about it. He's got parts on order for it.
Oh, good.
Unfortunately,
Okay.
something did break. So again, you're running a
Oh,
shotgun, and they have beat stuff up.
oh
Like, I
yeah.
actually switched optics this year because I'm pretty sure I beat up the optic I had before to no longer hold zero. So
That sucks. Yeah.
which is fine. I put something more durable on it this year.
hmm
But the only other, I think there's a shotgun, and I'm drawing a major blank on who makes it. Oh, Genesis. They make a
Oh
AR
yeah.
style, and somebody had one there, and they were having all kinds of problems with it. The guy was like, "It's
I
basically a pump
remember.
action shotgun right now."
That
So
sucks. Wow.
again, and that's like a $4,000 or $5,000 shotgun.
Are you serious?
Where I think
Wow.
all in, I've got like $900 for my shotgun.
That's not bad. That's
So
not
yeah, and
bad
people
at
people
all.
will send them off to disint it, and they'll actually remove the rock and lock section of the mag and make it so you can just insert it, just like a AR mag.
That's
Um,
nice.
yeah. So, but it's $600 plus you have to get it resale coded, because they actually have to remove a bunch of metal off of it, and it tends to mar the finish of the existing finish. So
Gotcha.
they
Okay.
recommend it being Cerakoted. Anyway, all that to say, that is the reason why I love Shotgun Day, is because I'm running a MagFet shotgun.
Well, you put a
What were
lot
your
of work and a lot of research
Yeah,
into it, and it
that's true.
works well. Like, but it goes to show once again the difference in training with equipment. Because obviously, I'd say we're pretty comparable in terms of like our skills. Like, in my personal, you're obviously you won this competition. Like, I'll definitely. So I guess but you know what I mean. Like, so because of that, I'm like, obviously, this is your equipment. You like crushed me, like
Yeah, I don't know what
doing the
crush
same
is the word
thing,
I would use.
bro. You like crushed me. You got 11th. I got 16th.
I Again, so for some record too, though, you did beat me on day one again.
Yeah, by like 2 places.
Yeah, it was a little bit closer
Last
this
year
year.
was a lot more, which
I,
I was like, "Okay, well, not gonna
I'm
lie,
not.
a part of me was
Yeah,
like, "Okay, my only hope is to do much better on day 1, so
yeah.
hopefully I have enough of a gap in between us for you to not catch up," and I was like, "Oh, snap."
It was
I
funny
think
because
we only have, like,
yeah,
10 seconds apart. I was like, "Okay, I'm in
it
trouble."
was close. It was really close. And honestly,
Yeah,
Tyler, it was funny. This year I actually did a decent amount of multi gun, just kind of in preparation for this because last year I had a really bad rifle pistol day,
I
and I made
remember.
up a lot on shotgun day. But my goal this year was to try to keep pace with you on rifle pistol, and knowing that I wasn't going to be able to surpass you. So secretly, Tyler, I've been working on this for quite a while, and I after the results came out from day one, I was like, I was pretty happy with myself, and I
Dude,
don't
I
I
would
don't
be
tend
s
to
mhm.
outwardly gloat, but I was like, and I didn't, but I was like, inwardly, I was like celebrating the fact that I was able to keep up with you,
Bro,
and
which is
that just
awesome.
goes
I
that just goes to
love
show
that.
how good of a shooter you are. So like again,
That's
all the
awesome.
compliments to you. So
No, I really appreciate it. I love that so much, man.
yeah,
That's so cool, and I'm honored. I really am. That's so
yeah,
cool. Oh, man. So, do you
but
wanna go into the stages?
yeah, let's do that. 17 minutes in, we haven't even started talking about the match yet. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, we talked about the match. We're kinda
I know.
we're kinda pre-court. We're, like, prefacing everything, giving context, but
Yeah,
whatever.
that's fair.
So
And I will
mhm,
say that part of the reason we did this podcast is to give people that don't do this kind of stuff a starting point. Right? So while there may be a lot of like preface into before we get into stages or into a match, a
mhm.
lot of that is intentional. Like because we do want the people to be able to pick this up and be like they could go through it, figure out what works, and then like what worked for us, and then not spend as much money as we did to get to that
Dude,
point.
no
Right?
kidding. I know. I,
Um
I I had someone recently ask me questions like, "Hey, this they're hey, what gun do you recommend? What holster do you recommend?" And I'm like, "All right, this is like my thoughts." And I'm like, "Here's a video." I'll send them
yeah.
videos or send them links. Like, I wish. Unfortunately, I used to point people towards a company called, I believe they're called Wild Gunner. I can't remember, but they were a holster rental company. It was a small business out of Texas, and he rented out holsters, and it was like Tier One concealed, T Rex arms, T1X, I believe, and there are like just a bunch TX1 maybe. Either way, it doesn't matter. But he had a bunch of different holsters that people were able to rent for like $10 a week, $15 a week. And unfortunately, he's out of business, or at least his
Oh,
website's no longer
yeah.
up. His Facebook's not up anymore, or he hasn't posted anything in like a year or two. So I was like, darn, because I
Mm.
want to I want to help people avoid the holster drawer of shame.
Yeah, you're not kidding. And I think that goes to a lot of equipment too. I can't tell you how many holsters and pistols I've gone through with like figuring out a pistol that works for me.
Hmm.
And I actually
You
I
found
feel
one
I'm at a
though.
yeah, I did. And you were lucky because you kind of found that pretty early for yourself to kind
I
of what
really
worked.
did. Hmm.
And you made a lot of good decisions too on like when you did purchase and spending the right amount of money on a pistol versus like, I went and bought some cheaper stuff, but back then I didn't have as much money. So a lot of that plays into your purchasability as well too. But we are all to say we are in the golden age of firearms
Oh my
where
goodness, yeah.
you can buy like a Glock or a Smith and Wesson, a Walther maybe even. I wouldn't buy a Sig just because not yet. I think there's maybe they figured out the problems. But you can
Hmm.
buy one like just a standard one that's optics ready for $600,
Yeah.
and it's going to be great.
Hmm.
And then if you want to upgrade, all of those companies offer like a competition version. So now you've gone from something that works really well, or you could upgrade the components to something that is more competition focused if you choose to go that direction.
Hmm. And
So
there's also so many companies that have aftermarket availability as well,
right,
because these companies are getting so big. Because for a while, it really was like Glock dominated the market, and but now we have so many others. You have Smith and Wesson, you have, like you said, Walther, HKs, even Palmetto State right now of what they're
yeah,
doing with everything. And it's just really cool to see Canic and all these
yeah,
different companies are just crushing it. Like, even, I mean, I'll say I'm very weary to even say Sig, but I think like even like the 365s, like
oh yeah, that's a great
they
pistol.
dominated the concealed carry market. So because they were so innovative with that to where it forced other companies to come out with these. Now I think they're calling it micro, like high capacity micro compacts or something like
Yeah.
that. So they didn't, because they had to in order to keep up. Now I think of like the SIG, what was it, the P365X macro? I think it's like thinner and smaller than a Glock 19, but still has like 17
I
rounds.
I know, which is wild to me,
I don't understand
right?
how that even works.
Yeah, and it's crazy because with something like that, if you wanted to get into concealed carry and shoot competition, now I wouldn't. I mean, maybe you could keep doing this, especially if smaller hands. You
Hmm.
could just rock that in competition, and yes, it's going to have more recoil, but you're not going to have a capacity problem.
Hmm.
You might have big sticks like everyone else does, but you can get 15 in that thing. That's doing pretty good.
We can get 17s in it. That's what I'm
Oh, that's
saying.
that's wild. Yeah,
Yeah, you can get this. It has a capacity of a Glock 17, dude.
crazy.
I know,
I
but
you know, and I sorry, I'm getting the stages here, and we're like 4 minutes later, but
wow, we're talking about gear right now. This
I
is
know.
awesome. I
Yes,
love it.
the other
It's
thing I will
fine.
say too is that if you think about firearms, there hasn't really been a massive improvement in like firearms, like core firearms technology, right? Like we've been with like brass case ammo for quite a while. Yes, there has been new cartridges that have come out, but think about like the 5.56 that has dominated since like the 60s and 70s, right? As like the intermediate cartridge of choice for many militaries, and as a
Hmm.
result, Citizens the same thing. 9 millimeter has been around since like it was invented in, oh boy, I'm gonna get this really wrong and somebody's gonna like correct us, but like at least the early 1900s. So like with the Luger and stuff, so it's been around for a while, and obviously there's improvements, powder improvements, there's ballistics
1902.
improvements. I was close, look at that. Major improvements on this stuff, like minor iteration, but a lot of it hasn't changed, and really you're looking
Hmm.
at like the technology and people distinguishing themselves in capacity. So I think that'll continue to have a arms race in that. Um, I forgot what to say in that's like capacity, right? So
Hmm.
anyway, all right. Anything else on equipment, Tyler? Chestwig ran well and everything.
Yeah, like
Satisfied
once
with it.
again, it ran great. Obviously, it's the exact same chest rig as yours. It's not
Yep.
exactly. It's the same company.
Yeah.
We couldn't figure out like the different. It gave like two different styles, I guess. We couldn't figure out the difference, but I think we figured out when we finally compared it. Yours has like pull tabs. Mine doesn't.
Yeah.
Like for like the mag retainers, like at the top with Velcro. Like yours actually has like a little lip that's not
Yep.
Velcro that it can easily pull. Other than that, I mean, I didn't have that, but it didn't really affect me. Mine was just really more my dump pouch because I didn't train with it at all. So
Mm-hmm.
it was putting things. I couldn't find my dump pouch with a backpack on, so there are times I just had to either keep the mags in my hands or put it in like my chest rig or my belt as I was moving around. So. Mhm.
Yeah. We covered that a little bit in the last episode, but I don't want to get too much into it. But I do have a new dump pouch that's right at my 9 o'clock,
Mhm.
or I should say left at my 9 o'clock. But you know what I meant. Anyway,
Yeah.
that works really well. I kind of wish I got the deeper one. Putting the magazines for the shotgun, they work fitting them in there, but there's a risk they could jump out.
Oh, for sure.
But they didn't, so I guess it probably was fine.
That's awesome.
And then I have just because I knew I was getting into this whole thing and I was going to go 100% into it. On my 9 o'clock, right above the dump pouch is I've got actually it's right behind it. I've got another magazine, a holder for a shotgun magazine, so I can actually reload off my hip. Um,
Mhm.
and that was intentional, knowing that I would have both options, pull off chest rig or off my hip, and that I think I used that maybe once
Mhm.
during this
That makes
match, so
sense.
maybe twice. Anyway, all right, Tyler,
Cool.
let's get into the stages, buddy.
All right, let's get into the stages. 25 minutes in. Let's just awesome, man.
I know.
All right, so of course, once again, this is Sunday. This is day two, stage one. They called it the Buckshot Extravaganza. So with this one, of course, pack on our pistol. Our mags have to be are loaded at capacity. And our shotgun mags are loaded capacity as well with birdshot only. In this case, our shotgun's hot and slung and pistol's hot and holstered. And from here, we're at the starting line. We'll go into the channel, very similar to the day prior that had channels at stage one. And then you're going to engage three shotgun targets as they show up. and then you're going to engage a popper and a clay pigeon, because once you hit the popper, a clay pigeon will fly up, I believe. You'll hit that, and then you have to continue down the channel, engaging the targets as they present from left to right until you get to the fault line. And then from there, you're going to unload your shotgun, and then you're going to go onto the roof, which they had, which Kyle so professionally explained to me that those were just straight up roof shingles and not skater tape, but skateboard tape or whatever. Thanks, Kyle. Can you tell I don't do blue collar work? That's great. But stand on the roof, and then you're engaged the pistol from the left, the pistol tree on the left or the right, and then there's a right pistol popper. From there, you're going to show clear, make safe, and then yeah, that's it. So it was a very straightforward stage, and this was for us. This was actually the second stage of the day, I believe. So
Correct.
we went backwards this time. Am I correct in that, Phil?
Yeah, I was looking at the order of the videos that we had recorded, and it was my second video that I
Yeah.
recorded.
So this is
Um,
stage 1.
yep.
So, but this, because they named it, it's funny to me how they have stage 1, stage 2, and then they go to meadows, forests, shoot house, and all that. But these
I
two, they're
know.
just like, eh, it's stage 1, stage 2.
Yeah, I think it's just because of the bays, the
It
location
makes
of the bays,
sense.
bays 1,
It
bay
makes
2.
sense. No big
Right.
deal. But either way, but in this case, this was actually our second stage that we did, but in order of the stage briefs, this is stage 1. So this one was our second stage of the day, and I'll be honest, I really needed this one because I will talk when we get to it. I did not have a good first stage, which was stage 2 of the day. So, any comments on this one, Phil?
Yeah, so this one was interesting, because it obviously when you go to shotgun day, the way that you engage targets changes completely because you're not putting holes in paper anymore or shooting. You still are shooting steel. I guess you are still putting holes in paper with your pistol, but your primary long gun, in this case being the shotgun, if you're going to shoot a target with birdshot or with buckshot, it's typically you're shooting steel,
Hmm.
because obviously it would shred the paper, if you weren't. So again, there's a lot of steel targets on this day, and it can be, and I think actually this was the result, is a lot faster, than day one because you have with a shotgun, especially when you're shooting the targets that require either a bird or buckshot. You have a little bit more leeway. You don't have to be right on it to hit it, right? Um, so this stage they weren't actually like yesterday or the day one when they were doing this. They didn't actually, if you bumped the lines going down the row, it didn't actually count against you. I didn't actually know that until after the fact. Otherwise, they would have moved a lot faster. But
Oh, I see what you're
yeah,
saying. Yeah. I'll be honest, I kind of forgot about it, and I kind of just kept doing it.
yep. So they opted not to. And then they did have some issue with people getting near breaking the 180, with the target that was kind of hidden behind that would flip up the clay. So that's something else you can do too. Is like you can shoot at stuff in the air because as long as there's no people on the other side of where your shot is landing, that stuff, it slows down pretty quick. And it would still hurt if you're on the other side,
Hmm.
but if there's no one there, it's not like you're not leaving a rifle or pistol round is not shooting off the range, which can be really dangerous. It's just either bird or buckshot that will fall harmlessly like 100 yards, at the most downrange, right? So you can do things like shoot at clays up and over the berms, which this stage had. They had just changed it, for when I ran it, and they painted lines on the ground that you can't really see, and then they
Hmm.
added a board later. So I actually got some grace on this stage where they allowed me to. I was originally gonna have because I was in front of the line, and I was originally gonna have. I was not breaking the 180, but I was originally gonna have a procedural. But they had changed the stage, so the guy was like,
Hmm.
"Well," they were already getting backed up. He's like, "Don't worry about it. You didn't break the 180. You were safe. Everything was fine. Just we're not going to give you the procedural," which I appreciate. But they did make it more clear from then on out by putting a board clearly down on the ground. That was much easier to like see as a competitor.
Hmm.
The
Yeah,
other thing
no,
I'll add on this
because well,
stage,
that was like you said, that
yeah,
was a change, which I really appreciate the fact that
yep,
they were really gracious and flexible. It's like, yeah, you're right, because like they made a change after the fact as well.
right. And I just
So
asked for a reshoot, but again, they were like, "No, it's fine," because again, it
yeah,
was safe. It wasn't like a
it
broken
was
rule.
safe, and it was also one of those things where they're like, yeah, they also they because they want to be cognizant of time as well.
Right.
because it is the second day too, and it's not like so like you shot like the only thing is like I think it was just a procedural. Like it didn't affect anything to where like you slowed down or anything because there's like our procedures like oh never mind you're good. So it's not
Right.
like oh because this happened like I actually had like a 10-second delay because of it. It's like no like you just went straight into it. There's no 180 issues. Just
Yeah, and it didn't really give an advantage either because the distances were not that great. Like you were, I was, it
exactly.
wasn't that much closer to the target.
No, it's Buckshot. It's I'm sorry, it's Birdshot. It's
Right.
fine with steel and clay. It was like it was what 3 feet. It wasn't
Like
like
the
a
dis-
crazy amount, 3
yeah,
feet,
yeah,
5 feet.
yeah. Oh, I
Like
see what
you're
you're
like
saying.
3 or 5 feet
Yeah, yep,
forward of where that fault line was.
right.
So it wasn't that big of a deal. I do know for me, like it was very straight. It was definitely a very straightforward stage. I went ahead and moved on, and for some reason that day, my pistol shooting was definitely not was pretty lacking in terms of accuracy. Funny enough, I was reviewing the footage. I remembered I actually had my was actually bleeding at the end, and I think I know what happened now. At first, it was like, oh, maybe it was from the shotgun, and because I think I did have a stovepipe, and then I, I think I know. You want to know what happened, Phil?
Did you get Glock bite, Tyler?
I did. I got Glock bite. So what? Because what had happened was same thing. Because in this on this specific year, they chose to have us retain mags. If you drop your mags and don't pick it up, that is a penalty. And I didn't want to waste any more time trying to put my pistol mag away. So I had the spare the empty mag in my support hand trying to shoot with my pistol. So my thumb was higher than usual, so I got Glock bite. I got a bit on my slide. It was great. At least
I
that's my
mean,
guess.
yeah, it happens to the best of us, Tyler. It's all right.
That's my guess. I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure it's what it is. But oh well, that's
Um,
stage one.
yeah. First one, I was gonna say this was probably one of two of my best stages of the day. I was reviewing the video on it, and um I don't always like everybody's got pistol misses, but actually went 1 for 1 on all the pistol on this one.
That's awesome, dude.
But
Good for you.
again, we talked about mindset earlier, and that's why I bring it up. Is I think as a result, that stage really put me in a good mood.
Hmm.
Because I was like, oh, I can do this, and I know deep inside, I'm like, well, I'm capable of doing this match. I've shot this match before.
Oh yeah.
Um,
I mean, you've done
but
this. This was what your fourth year, fifth
fourth
year.
year, yep,
Yeah.
yeah, fourth year. So, I was looking at stage, and I think like the only thing I could have done faster was, because I think Kyle beat me on the stage. It's just moving a
When
little bit
didn't
more.
Kyle beat us on the stage?
Well, I
Did you
did beat
beat him
him.
on the stage?
I did beat him on the stage this year.
That's awesome. Oh, that's right, you did.
We'll get to it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was watching this one, and I think the only thing I could have done better on the stage was um and I was actually watching the competitors in front of me, which like what order they were shooting at, because you have to go back and forth while you're shooting steel from one side to the other.
Oh yeah.
And I was watching that, so I kind of knew what the pattern was. So in my head, I knew what the pattern was to do it, but I could have been moving a little bit more while I was doing it, because
Hmm.
I did take little stops to stop and shoot, and I think that cost me a little bit of time. And then I had a little bit of a stutter step on the incline just to find the target, but I don't think it really cost me too much.
No, I'd
But
say overall it was a pretty straightforward stage, and you did really well on it.
yeah, and in your defense, Tyler, those poppers were really tiny. They're not like traditional poppers. They were like
No,
tiny. They're like little baby poppers.
yeah, no, they're tiny. So I was like, whatever. Or the for me the pop, I was fine with the poppers. It was a stinking dueling tree, which that was tiny as well. But
Yeah, and you're on like a weird incline too, so you
yeah,
gotta if you're not in a great position to shoot it, it does make it more difficult.
yeah, that's valid. But thank you for making excuses for me.
I got you, buddy.
All right, man. Stage two. Why don't you tell us about it?
All right, so stage two, we're back at the stage that we had yesterday that had the automobile that was parked next to the start box. So you started with your backpack off, and then you
Hmm.
had to engage. There were a set of three different pistol targets right at the beginning, two that were like next to each other, one of which was a popper. You had to engage those with pistol, and then you could put your backpack on. I chose to put my backpack on immediately and then shoot them, just so I can get it out of the way when I forget it. But
Hmm.
so anyway, so you start off, again, I grab backpack on, engage the steel with your pistol, and if I remember correctly, you only had, I think it was, you were limited to 4 shots in your magazine, and it was 3 shots total, I think is what it was. So if you missed, you're kind of stuck. And then as soon as you shot, then your pistol was empty and you could holster
Correct. Yes.
it. Okay. and I couldn't remember, maybe you had to double tap one of them. So that's another thing where you have to realize if you miss the target you're supposed to double tap, move on and go for the other targets, because it's a larger penalty to have a FTE, failure to engage, than it is to have a
Mm-hmm.
miss. So
100%.
yeah, I think I had a miss on that one, but I did realize I needed to move on. I did, and I got the other two. So anyway, reholster your pistol, and then move forward to a few predefined positions that had a barricade in front of you, a a set of barrels actually in front of you as well, and then you had to pick up a shotgun, and they had a pre-staged magazines. In this case, if you had a magazine fed shotgun, they were pre-staged on top of those barrels, and then you had to engage a set of steel targets from one side of the barricade inside the shooting box. So you're kind of limited in the area which you could kind of lean, and you did have a limited amount of rounds as well, and it was a 1-for-1 limit.
Yeah,
So if
I'm
you
trying to
missed,
remember with I know on this stage you definitely had a massive advantage if you had a mag fed shotgun because I'm trying to remember how they did it with the tubes. Did they just
they
lean?
loaded off their body, I think, if I remember correctly.
I just remember it looks a massive disadvantage. Someone brought it up to where
Yep.
they were not happy about it. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to
That's just
remember.
unfortunately in this, because a lot of times if you shoot a mag fed shotgun, that puts you into open. Open division here is just called optics division, and it allows you to have an optics on your pistol.
Hmm.
Um, and it doesn't have restrictions either way. You could shoot irons and still use a mag fed shotgun if you chose to.
Yeah, but
Anyway,
yeah.
so moving on, yeah, 1-for-1 on the targets, and then you unloaded that magazine, put it into your mag pouch, moved to the next shooting area, grabbed the next magazine, which was also downloaded to the amount of targets that you had, shot those targets through the box, moved on to um, what was the final section where you actually picked up your magazine that had the slugs in them, and then you had to go on to, that was actually at a different spot, but you had to go pick that up, then move on to the last box, which you then had to engage two man-sized silhouette targets with two slugs.
Hmm.
And after that, you were done. So Tyler,
Yes, bro.
talk to me, Tyler, about how this stage went for you.
I was so mad.
Why were you mad, Tyler?
I was mad.
Why?
Oh,
Why were you mad?
because I don't know how to reload with your shotgun. It was like it was fine, of course. For me, I did slightly different to where I started with the pistol targets without my backpack, and then I put on the backpack as I ran to the next position. When I got there, first mag, no issues. Second mag, I was having some issues with dump pouch, but I was like, okay, I was fine. I fumbled it a little bit, but I was able to get it in just fine. And then to give context for those as a reminder, you have a 75-second hard stop part time. I got to the very last mag of shotgun slugs, and I spent like 20 seconds. Yep, here it is. I got to the space. Yep. I spent 20 seconds in that final area just trying to load the mag because I
I
just
think,
I couldn't load it. And even
yeah,
the slug actually popped out of the thing. After it
yeah,
popped out, the part time went off, and the
yeah.
dude's like, bro, you spent like, you got here in like 50 seconds. I'm like, yeah, or
You need to
55
turn that
seconds.
that video footage of you with the magazine into a YouTube short. I'm guarantee you that it would go viral.
Yeah, I probably would. I'm like, oh my goodness, man, that was rough. Oh man, there are a lot of things that'll go. Like there were definitely, I had a lot of fun. Like the from the previous day, we talked about that stinking boat, that boat stage. I'm like trying to reel it in, and the guy's like, pull it. I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think this match especially was pretty brutal if you made like administrative so like administrative things are like things that you have to do on the clock that aren't shooting, right, or moving. So things like reloading magazines, using a fishing pole to pull a head out of the water, moving or like doing certain positions or whatever that may be different, like those kind of things are administrative. And if you messed up on that, and I had a few stages where I had some administrative issues, as well, that'll cost you a lot of time.
Oh, for
Um,
sure. Yeah.
and I think that's people timed out a lot, was just having those administrative issues, right? Or not shooting fast enough, and moving fast enough. That's part of it. Um, for me on this one, I did have I think it was, you had to double tap the play at the beginning. I had a mic on that, so I got a mic. The correct way of doing this, from like if you're gaming the system or gaming the game, is the way that you did it, Tyler, where you shoot the steel first and then you put the backpack on while you're moving, because again, you're doing something on the clock while you're already doing something else on the clock. So anytime you can do that is always the best idea. The only reason I chose not to do that is because I would have forgot my backpack, and I did not want to get penalized for that. So knowing that that was going to cost me, at least I wouldn't forget to have it. The other thing is just interesting. You didn't actually have to put the backpack on your back. You could carry
Hmm.
it from point to point. And a lot of people did that, but a lot of people also timed out doing that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So I think putting it on like you did on the move, putting it on is the correct way. 100%.
Yeah, no, it definitely worked out for me. And this is another example of where it was really nice having an adjustable sling instead of a bungee sling. I ended up
Yes.
just sticking with your Magpul MS1 or whatever sling it's called. And
Yep.
I'll be honest, I'm very tempted to get that sling. So, but right now I'm like, it's off season, so I'm not really gonna need
I
it.
know.
And I already have my own. I have an adjustable sling. I have my
Yeah.
Blue Force Hero Victor sling, so I love that thing. So I don't really need another sling right now. It'll be more. It'd just be nice to have a backup sling. So,
Right.
but it definitely intrigues me enough. I'm like, I just might. But either way, so this stage, I
Yeah.
think, yeah, I just remember I was definitely really frustrated. But I'm trying to remember, did I get it? Something else happened? I know. Did I guess?
I
I
had an
think I had a
FTE on it.
stove. Did I have a stovepipe too on this one, or was
I
it
don't
another
remember.
one?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it was. I'm trying to remember if this stage is the one I had the stovepipe on as well. Um, so to be fair, I tend to tinker or dink around with
Hmm.
like stuff like before the match when I probably shouldn't. I went to clean the shotgun because it does get really gummed up. Semi-automatic shotguns, just in general, just are a huge mess of carbon fouling. That is a pain to deal with, and I was so tired of it cleaning it, and it takes like hours to get clean. I bought a ultrasonic cleaner,
Nice.
and ultrasonic cleaners are great, but they will remove oil out of steel or metal like big time, and you have to really like lube things up, and you'll actually watch you like watch it absorb the oil. And I
Hmm.
probably should have lubed the shotgun a second time after I did it the first time, but again, I was kind of last minute. And I took it to the range afterward and it ran fine. So I was like, oh, it's fine. But I think what happened is I burned off some of the initial oil at the range, testing a few things, and then it was just kind of, we had some issues. But for the most part, it was fine.
Gotcha.
I did have an FTE on this stage. For some reason, I re-engaged one of the steels twice. I don't know why, with
Mm-hmm.
the shotgun, and then it's like, okay, whatever. Not my better, well, not one of my better stages personally either. So I just got under the clock on this one too.
Hey,
Like I think I pulled the trigger on the slug and the time went off for
at least
the
you
last slug.
at least you didn't have two FTEs on that one. After that, I was like, all right, Phil, congratulations, you beat me.
It's anybody's day, dude. I'm telling you.
I I know, but oh well. That was the first stage of the day, but stage two of the competition.
Correct.
So
All right, Tyler. So from there, where did we go?
from there, I went back and took a nap.
You didn't take a nap.
I didn't. I actually went. I went a wild goose chase looking for my sling because I think I needed to go use the bathroom, and I found where it was. I laid it down at our campsite. I was like, "Crap! I hope snap! I didn't. I hope I didn't lose my sling." So, and I think my ear pro died too. So I was definitely having issues that day. But all that to say, all we went to stage three after that, which was, of course, the 360 stage, the beloved 360. So on this one, they had the boat again, but this time the boat had water in it, dude. So of course our pistol mags are loaded, and then our shotgun is loaded as well, just not one in the chamber. For this one, thankfully, once again, you're able to leave. Well, never mind. I remember now. You could leave your pack off, but the boat the ground was covered in water, so you did not want to do that. So, and then of course you're laying your shotgun down, and from here you're basically start same thing with the pistol. You're engaging the silhouettes, ouch, and then you're starting from you're just doing 3 shots, I believe. I'm sorry, no, I'm thinking about something else. I was thinking about rifle day. So you're doing pistols, you're engaging the silhouette, including the zombie. You're doing chest in, chest out, and then eyes in as a bonus, and then you're just
Mhm.
shooting from right to left, 2 hits each, and then from there you're clearing on holster because it was like there was like a few targets on the right, and then it'll be that silhouette, the in out, and then it'll be more to the left, and then after that you make clear holster, then you pick up the shotgun, which is in the water, and then you go from same thing right to left, shooting all the round steel targets, one hit each, and then from there you call it a day. So this was, I mean, another really fun one. This actually was, I believe, for me, my favorite stage of the day, like of the whole weekend.
Yeah, and if I recall, you did really well on the stage as too, Tyler. If I remember,
I believe so. Like from what I remember, I think I'm trying to remember. I can't remember if it was the no. Okay, this one I beat. I believe it was this one where I beat Kyle in par time, but he got the bonus. So because of that, he beat
that's right.
me.
That's right.
Which he was like, "Yeah," he told me time, but then he's like, "But I had the bonus, so I beat you." I'm like, "Oh my goodness, thanks for that, Kyle. Give me some hope." So, but this was fun. I mean, for me, same thing. Just like for the boat, I think we spoke about it last time. I stood straight up and just went into it. Just went to town. Just went from right to left, and no issues. Actually, I'm looking. I did have a stovepipe again, but no issue. I just yanked it out, threw it down, just called it a day. No big deal. So looks like from start to finish, I did this in looks like 37 or 38 seconds, according to
Dang,
the
dude,
recording.
that's really good. That like it's interesting because a lot of these times that we put down, obviously they're pretty good. Both Tyler and I finished very well overall in the match. But you get like wildly different times on these. We had people that are squad that didn't finish the stage. Right. So there are a bunch of other
Hmm.
people that were the same way as well too. But it just goes to show that like there's something to be said about the ability to do like you were really efficient under like on the clock, Tyler. Like with your reloads, your transitions, your holstering, all that stuff is really good. And some
Hmm.
people like if you don't practice it or you don't get a lot of time under the clock, then it does take a while.
It's just my dumb pouch and reloading a
I
shotgun
know.
that got
Well,
me, which is
yeah,
insane to me. That's,
and
but it
yeah,
goes to show like the stark difference in my training.
yeah. And on this one, the boat itself counted as a like your dump pouch. So as long
Hmm.
as your magazines ended up in the boat or
Yeah.
magazine for your pistol's fine.
Wow. Uh huh. Yeah. Tell us about
Hmm.
that, Phil.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
I was doing the math on it while you were talking about your experience.
Were you
So
really?
I did. So on this stage, for some reason, when I went to clear my pistol to reholster it, my brain was like, "You don't want to put that magazine into the water in the boat. The correct thing to do would be to eject it onto the ground outside the boat where it was
No.
dry."
You actually thought, I didn't realize you thought
That
that. I thought
that
you
that
just
went that went that went through my brain.
I
So
thought
I
oh,
yeah. So I like swung my pistol over the side of the boat, eject the mag on the outside the boat.
dude.
In this match, you get penalized for any mag that's left over on the ground.
Mhm.
So I thought I was like, oh, so I realized it very quickly what I had done. So I made sure the pistol was cleared. I holstered it, and then I went to grab the magazine from the side of the boat,
Mhm.
which I did, and then put it in my dump pouch, which cost me about 4.5 seconds,
Mhm.
and then proceeded to clear the rest of the stage. Now I finished the stage in 40 something seconds, 48 seconds. But anyway,
Okay.
that was like another 4.5 seconds that I was burning picking up the mag. And then I got done, and the RO reminded me that anything dumped outside the boat is in the water in the lake, hypothetically, and
Mhm.
it did not. I did not get my magazine back. So not only did I lose 4.5 seconds to futzing around with trying to get my magazine back outside the boat, I also lost time for drop mag.
Dude, that
So I
sucks.
know. And
That
at this point, I'm thinking
sucks.
Tyler's going to catch up to me, and we're going to have a really like head-to-head day on
You
shotgun.
know, I will admit, Phil, I try my best not to celebrate in other people's mistakes. But when you told me about that, I was like, "Oh my goodness, I have a chance." I will admit it. I was like, "I have a
I
chance."
I'm not mad, Tyler, because like when you showed me the video of you like trying to load that magazine into the shotgun, I laughed so hard, and I was like, dude, I might actually be able to beat Tyler on shotgun day.
That's
It's just
awesome.
friendly competition, is
It
all,
is.
right?
I don't care.
Yeah,
it's it's about. I mean, it's
yeah,
about
okay,
getting. The prizes are fairly comparable. You get lucky at times. I know Brent. He got like an aim point. Um, Red Dot Aim Point sponsor us, but really,
yeah,
it's
thank you.
getting first. Where you get like the big prizes, and I'll be honest, like
Right,
I'm not at that level, and would I love to get to. I don't know, like sure, but at the same time, I just know there are other areas in my personal life, not just my shooting life. Like I want to make sure that I'm doing well and being proficient in as well. So, but I have tons of respect for Kyle and his craft.
yeah.
So
No, I agree 100%. You know, it's like one of those things where you could spend infinite time on it, and then does it become a job, or do you still enjoy it? So
exactly.
I think I would say I'm casually happy with how like how we I think both of us would probably say this, casually happy with the way that we did on the stages in the match
Oh,
overall.
dude, yeah. I mean, I'm 16th place. I'm extremely happy with that. Like, I'm very happy, with especially because I think the year prior I was like 28th or 30th or something
I
like
don't
that.
think you were that low.
I
I thought you were
feel
in
like
the I
I
thought you were in the
was.
20s. Like,
Maybe even then, maybe I was. Maybe it was 28.
yeah,
But even then, like now, but going all the way up to 16th, going to once again with the gun that I shot what three times, two
yeah,
times in an operating system that's completely foreign to me. So
yeah.
I'm very happy with that.
I If you owned a shotgun that you ran, then it would I don't know if I would be able
Oh,
to be able to
yeah.
compete with you.
No,
So
I'd still say I think we'd still be pretty comparable. I think we'd be a lot closer because in
yeah,
my personal opinion, I could be wrong, but I think we'd be a lot. I think we'd be closer. I don't know if I'd be.
yeah,
Yeah. So either way, it doesn't really. Yeah, maybe I'd have my own backpack too. Funny thing is, I use Phil's backpack. It's great that he
yeah.
forgot
A
about.
different backpack. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
But
Um. Okay. Yeah. So this stage was interesting. I did get the bonus on the eyes though, so I guess one of the penalties negated the other one or something.
that's
So,
fair. Hmm.
but still, I lost time. You still. The crazy thing is, Tyler, is even with dropping the mag on the outside of the boat, you still beat me by like. Because what did you get? You said you got the 30 what?
I
38.
mean, it was more. I don't remember. I mean, I don't have it pulled up, but it was more looking at the pictures. I do know I shot it clean, but I did it in the video itself. Kaylee did a really good job of starting it. I did it in like
Yeah.
36 to 38 seconds.
Yeah. You still would have beat me, which is crazy. So good job.
Thank you. Yeah, no, like I just kind of worked out for me.
And I know you like the stage the day before too, and I think there's a lot of that as well, where you're like, "Hey, I love the stage day one. Let's bring it on day two." And it's very much in your boat. I was gonna say wheelhouse, but I'm gonna say boathouse. It's very much in
Yeah,
your
no,
boathouse because
right. Yeah. Funny thing is, like, I don't really go on boats, but for me,
yeah,
I'm all about like trying to balance is just really important to me, I guess. But like, 'cause I do squat. I
yeah.
know we talk.
And
It's like a running joke here, but
I am curious. I think we pulled everyone. I think you were the only one to stand up.
I think there was one other person who stood. I don't remember. Might have been Daryl, but
Yeah, that could be.
I don't remember. But I do know Kaylee mentioned like even just watching because she recorded, of course. Like for me, of course, like every time I would turn, like the boat would wiggle, but I'd be fine. I don't know. I just had no issues. I think a part of it too is because I think I don't know. Back when you and I were lifting, I definitely really emphasized the importance of like one.
Right,
Obviously, I can't do like a full on pistol squat. I would love to one day, but I would really emphasize the importance of like one legged, like partial squats for balance and mobility and being able to have like your little stabilizer muscles work well.
right.
So for me, I was like, yeah. So for me, I had like no issues at all. So yeah, just get up. I don't know. For me, my it didn't even occur to me that I could shoot while sitting. I just didn't
I
even think
definitely
about it.
did. I was
Yeah, I
like,
know you did.
I will fall out of this boat if I stand up.
Yeah, because I know Kyle. Kyle sat, and I don't know about day two what he did with the shotgun, but I know on day one he sat for pistol, and then when he grabbed his rifle, he like kneeled or leaned on it. So
Yeah,
I was like,
I'm
oh,
not
that
sure.
makes sense. I didn't even think
That
about that
sounds
either.
that sounds
For,
right. I think he
mhm.
did the same thing in day two.
He might have.
But
I do know day one. I think he like messed up his shin or something like that. But whatever.
yeah, that's fair. Maybe he didn't then.
But Phil, actually, would you like to talk about stage four?
Yeah, stage four was back in the woods, which is a stage that is ironically in the woods. Um, this one was uh, these stages like in the woods is one stage that when you have a longer par time, you can really take advantage of the woods themselves because you have a lot of space to do some weird stuff. And like in the
hmm
past, we've gone like over nets, we've gone under nets, we've shot bowling
hmm
pins off of logs and that kind of stuff. This year it was a little bit different. But at the start, you were shotgun was air what's it called airplane loaded or aircraft? Was it airplane
Something like
loaded?
that.
Is it where like
Aircraft.
aircraft loaded, where you have the magazine inserted, but you don't have a round in the chamber of your
hmm
shotgun.
Which is pretty
Pistol,
consistent with this
yeah,
day, just in general.
yeah, which I don't disagree with because it does like people that aren't used to running around with loaded firearms, it does help avoid potential like safety problems.
hmm
Um, and it's fine. And then you get it. There's not a huge disadvantage to it. Just remember to rack your, and everyone's got to do it. You got to either, you got to, or they
yeah,
forget like I did.
yeah, like me who constantly kept forgetting to
Yeah,
turn off his safety.
yeah,
I was like, ugh. So, and
yeah,
Kyle's like, why do you have the safety on? Like, you're not starting. You're starting empty. I was like,
yeah,
oh yeah,
yeah.
that's really smart.
That's fair.
Thanks, Kyle. I'll remember that next year or the year after because I don't think I can go next year. But still, hey.
All right, and then pistol was hot holstered with one magazine of 5 rounds, and then the rest was unlimited. After that, we could reload
hmm
into a full magazine. At the beep, then you actually from the shooting box you had to engage two like closer up zombie steel targets with chests in and out on the left, and then you had to shoot the eyes open, or sorry, shoot the
hmm
eyes in. Then you had to. So that was on. So it's, again, two sets of pistol targets. If you shot it clean and you didn't miss any of your shots, you didn't have to reload.
Yes.
So I did not, and we'll get into that in a second. But
hmm
anyway, so if you did, there's a few advantages to hitting all your shots. Then you basically you had an empty gun because you were only allowed 5 rounds, and then you could like literally just holster like back up, or dump your mag or whatever. But you had a holster and an empty gun. And then if you had to reload, you had two disadvantages because not only did you have to make the reload to make the shots you didn't hit, you then had to unload the magazine and then show clear and then move on. Right.
hmm
So instead of the gun going empty naturally, you had to make it empty before you could holster clear and move on, or clear holster move on. And then from there, you have the shotgun engage. They had three falling steel targets from the box, and then proceed forward to the box number two, which had additional falling steel targets, and then clear the shotgun, make it safe, and then the last shot was a shot at a fairly decent distance. It was a bigger round plate,
Oh
but
yeah.
that was your stop plate, and that actually that was your stop plate. So as you hit that, then the stage was over.
Yep.
So Tyler, this stage was actually interesting. I don't think we had a chance to watch each other shoot it because during this day things got really windy and our camp tents flew all over the place.
They did.
And so I was on deck, so I couldn't go up to help, but you ran up to help out. And
Yeah.
then as soon
Daryl
as
and I
I
went
was
up.
done shooting, I made, I was done, cleared everything, obviously. And then I went up and then helped clear. And then by that point, you had gone back down to shoot. Um, so I didn't get to see how you did on the stage. So if you want to kind of give me a rundown of how things went for you.
I mean, it's definitely as expected. This was something where I knew in this case where I just knew like with that initial with the pistol because we only had 5 rounds. I told myself whether I hit or missed or not, I am not taking any makeup shots because I wanted to make sure that I didn't lose
Mm-hmm.
time because I'm a fast reloader. I know that. I don't have any issues reloading. But it's the fact that now if I have to take a makeup shot, I have to reload, take literally one or two shots, take empty my gun, clear my gun, make it cold, holster, make sure that other mag is gone to where I'm like, it's not worth my time. So I'm just gonna take the shots this way. I at
Mm,
least don't get a penalty for FTE. I can't remember. I think I hit like I think I ended up having two mics there. I believe I can't remember.
mm,
So I
mhm.
did that, and then of course I went up, and lo and behold, what do you think I had issues with?
Loading the
Re-
magazine.
Oh yeah, loading that
Yeah.
shotgun magazine, man. So after I get it in, I was like, all good, no issues with the burst shot. And then once again, for some reason, I was just went to war with that final pistol shot, man. This one, it took me a while. I don't remember what my score was, but I just remember
Mm,
for me, I think I knew I was in the right mindset because exactly just like Phil said, like it was so windy. Dan shows up in his side by side, and he's like, "Hey, he's like, two guys from Michigan, go up. Your canopy flew away." So we get inside, and he just drives us up, and we're just like, Daryl and I are like, just like seeing the aftermaths of like our
mm,
canopies like flipped upside down on top of the Connex. And we're like, all right. So we just get the thing, we flip it over, we take it apart, we collapse it. Anything that was loose, we kind of just gather it together and kind of just threw inside our RV, put it together. And I do remember because I actually still, my left hand still it's scabbed now, but I remember now it pinched my hand, of course, too. So
mm.
my left hand's bleeding now. So first my right thumb's bleeding, now my left hand's bleeding. And but hey, I got to use my fixed blade, so that was cool. So can't complain with that, I guess. But
Fair.
yeah, but it was fine overall. So I know for sure, like when I got there, like I was like on deck, and the R was like, "Are you sure? Like you can go?" I'm like, "Ah, just let me go. I don't care." So maybe it would have been better for me to wait one more person, but I was like, "Nah, I kind of just want to go." And then Daryl came in. I don't know how he did because I think afterwards I kind of went back to just make sure we're all set and ready to go to the next stage, next and final stage.
Yeah, for me on this one, it was interesting because everything's kind of going on in the background, and I was like, I try to get immediately switch my mindset back into shooting the stage.
Oh yeah.
So I started up and had I had two mics as well. I don't know what like
Mm,
why pistol just like fell off the rails at that point in the day. I don't know why, but I did choose to reload and make the makeup shots. It didn't end up mattering anyway because I had ended up actually it wasn't on this day. There's one where I hit it but it didn't go out. Anyway, so I had to do the whole unload, put everything away, blah blah blah, in a dump pouch and all that before I could move on. So that ended up costing me. And then when I got onto the shotgun, I forgot to rack the round in the chamber. So click, figured out immediately, racked it, made the shots, and then I went to turn and make the shots for the shotgun on the right hand side, and one of the plates didn't get reset. When you
mm-hmm.
shoot USPSA, that's an immediate stop. You reset the stage. So you stop the stage, unload, show clear, and then they reset the stage. You go to like further back in the line, you reshoot it. So I wasn't sure what to do. And the guy was like, he goes, just take a shot at it. And I was like, in that area. And I was like, oh, okay. So I don't know how much time I lost. It probably wasn't a ton, but maybe like, 2, 3, 4 seconds, something like that. So I took a shot at it. And then I actually had to make a reload on the shotgun as well because I think I missed another one or something like that. I forget what it was. But so I kind of got little messed up with that. And then I went and I shot the stop plate. I think it took me like 3 shots to hit or something like that. And it was
Gotcha.
fine. But I don't normally argue for a reshoot, especially when things get backed up. But I
hmm
was like, hey, like that thing was down and the R or that guy keeping score was like, no, it's cool. He gave it to you. And I'm like, I know, but I lost some time on it. And he's like, oh, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And I didn't want to argue with it. Again, I'm not competing for first place. Had I been like competing for first place, I probably would have argued. And honestly, they're so backed up and these ROs volunteer their time. Whatever. It's fine.
hmm
But yeah, that was like that was a little annoying, but
No,
it
I'd
was it
be
was fine. It was fine.
yeah, I'd still be pretty frustrated though.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find. I know they put the scores on practice score. I can't find it again. Do you remember how to
Did
get
they?
there?
They know they emailed the scores out. I don't
Did
think they
they?
actually put it.
Oh, I'm
I don't think they
sorry.
put it in
You're
practice
right.
score.
You're right. My brain was thinking about something else. You are correct. They said
Yeah,
that
actually,
they mentioned they would, but no, they ended up just emailing because it would be because we had the final scores. It would have been nice to actually have a breakdown though of what I actually did.
Yeah.
So,
I
oh well.
Dan, if you're listening to this, if you do have a chance to get out the stage times, that would be actually kind of cool to see how like because on day one you had all the stage times because they were on the board posted, but day
Yep.
two, we didn't they didn't have them. They said overall score. So it would be kind of cool to get those if we had the possibility to get those posted on practice score or mailed out just to see how we did on the stages
Oh, it'd be
compared to
amazing.
everyone
Yeah.
else. It'd be sweet.
But either way,
Yeah.
so yeah, so that was our fourth
Stage
stage
four on the
today.
woods. Yep.
Yep, on the
Welcome to the
woods.
jungle.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it was called.
Was it really?
It was. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep.
But now, of course, at the very last stage is the good old shoot house. Shoot. Oh wow, they call it shoot fillet. So
That's funny.
that actually is pretty funny. So this one, of course, was so this was very specific. You had a limited round count. Your pistol had to be 8 rounds, and then your shotgun, your first load had to be 4 shells, and then your second load was 8 shells. And at the start, you enter into shoot house, and then you turn, and then you're gonna engage 4 silhouettes with your shotgun, and then just one shot each, and then you're gonna clear and you just run into the shoot house and you're just going to go down to the hallway. You're going to engage 4 pistol targets, 2 hits each. You're going to clear and holster your pistol, retain your mag, of course. And the RO did specify that we couldn't just drop our slide. We had to take our mag out of our pistol and put it away. We couldn't just leave it in. And then from there, you're going to exit the shoot house, and then you're going to engage with your shotgun. You're going to shoot a popper, which will take up a, a clay that'll just go straight up. Nothing too crazy. I don't know, like maybe like 10 feet in the air, if that. Not even that. It was like 7 or 8 feet in the air.
Yeah, it was pretty low. I was just looking at the footage for that, and it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's like 8 feet.
Yeah, it's not much. You shoot it, and then from there, you're just going to shoot these, these, wow, I'm blanking out. It's like these targets that are inside targets, really just from. He recommends you shoot it from right to left because if you shoot that left target, because he's
Yeah,
gonna engage the clay pigeon that like flew. I don't know, like it probably wasn't, but it felt like it was 50 feet in the air. So
it was really high.
it
It
was
was legit. It was,
so
and
high,
it was
dude.
smoking fast too. It was
It
not. It was not moving
was.
slow.
It was crazy. So you engage the clay pigeon, and from there you're good to go. So this stage, don't get me wrong, once again, love the shoot house, but I felt a little underwhelmed again, only because I felt like, is that it for pistol? Like, is there more? Like, I knew there's only 4, but my brain was like, okay, what? Actually, this one wasn't as bad because I had a slide lock at that point. So this one, I know I ran clean. I had no issues at all, but somehow someone beat me in this one.
Was it Kyle,
Oh yeah, Kyle definitely beat me in. No, wait.
or did you beat
Actually,
Kyle?
I think I actually did beat Kyle in this one. Barely, but I think I beat him in this one. But someone else beat me though.
I don't know. Oh, who's that?
Bro, it's you.
Okay, so Tyler, you were talking about earlier in this episode
Oh my
where like
goodness, I am watching this myself trying to reload this stinking shotgun now.
yeah, I would be curious. I think we actually did time it down. With we'll have to run the footage next to each other to find out how like when the beep goes off, how close we are on all of our other shooting. So on this stage, I I had another goal. I had a goal to keep up with you guys on the shoot house this year because last year, like my shoot house was fine. Day one was awful. To be honest, it wasn't fine. It was awful. Day two was much better. Actually, day two was pretty good.
Mhm.
On this one, this year, I was like, I got to keep up with Kyle and Tyler. And it was the last stage. For some reason, the squad decided that we were going to do this whole thing without our shirts on. I don't know why and whose idea that was. So there's a photo of us all like wearing like our chest rigs and like our camo pants and no shirts with
I feel like
our
it was
stuff floating.
Brent.
Probably.
This seems that just strikes me as a Brent thing. I don't know for sure.
I
It
don't
is
know.
so funny though, just seeing the pictures. Like I have a massive tan line. We all do, and then there's like Jeff. I'm like, dude, it literally looks like he just came straight out of Nam.
That's funny.
He's like dark. I'm like, wow. But
That's really
whatever.
funny.
Dude
So I
must
don't know if it was
tan.
just like the like not wearing shirt berserker rage or whatever, but I was like, I gotta channel my inner Tyler on this one. So I ran into the first position where the plates were, and this was all blind, by the way. You didn't actually get to see the stage before you went into it.
Hmm.
They told you what you were going to be doing, but you didn't get to see it. So I went in, took the two of the shots at least to the for the steal with the shotgun on the move, and then in like you had to remove the magazine when you had it. So you were, I think, were you empty? I think at that point because you had four shots or something.
Yeah,
The
you had to
shotgun.
be. Yeah,
I
you're
don't remember.
empty.
Yeah.
So
So
then
so do I.
so it gave you the opportunity to either reload on the
That's right.
move, you
Yep.
just could not chamber it. So for
Yes.
me, I
Correct.
chose to wait once again because I didn't want it to get into my head because I knew I would have issues with it. So I know like guys like Kyle who had a tube fed, he was reloading as he after he did that, he
Right.
started reloading
Yes.
and then he got
Yep.
to pistol and just went for it.
So on this one, I knew like roughly how the shoe house was laid out anyway. So I knew I was gonna have some time before I went into the shoe house to shoot pistol. So I
Hmm.
removed the magazine, put it in my dump pouch, and opted not to reload at that time because I was like, hey, then I'll have another break after shooting pistol. But dude, I went in and I was like watching this, and I'm like, man, this Tyler level fast here.
That's
So
awesome. Well, yeah, you
cleared
beat
the
me. I would hope so.
clear cleared the steel, reholstered like super fast. Actually, really, I'm gonna not wear a shirt in any matches going forward.
That's
Um,
awesome. I will
anyway, went
admit,
around.
I like refused to put my shirt on afterwards. I was like, I don't care
No,
anymore.
yeah, that's cool. Went around the corner, reloaded. I did have a little bit of a fumble on the reload, but ended up going locking in pretty quick. Cleared all the steel, got the first clay, in and out on the center or in on the center targets, cleared the plates, and then hit the last plate. It was really windy that day, and they were really zipping those clays. My clay broke overhead. So I had three shots left in my mag. I just unloaded in its direction.
Hmm.
And because it broke, the ROs were actually they weren't sure what to do with it. Um, and they were like, "Hey, did you hit it?" And I'm like, I'm not sure. I was like, so on the reticle I have the donut of death, and I was in like the frame of the shell, but it was just parts of it at that point flying above. So again, get kind of lose out on the stage previous, but on this one they're like, hey, we're gonna have to give it to you either way. We're not sure because it broke, right? And then we thought our option would be to rerun the stage. And again, they're because of people behind us, they don't want to take more time.
Oh, for
So I think
sure.
that's pretty common, even at other three gun matches. If the clays break, they have to give it to you, or they make you rerun the stage.
Hmm.
So anyway, all I had to say that was my best stage of the day. Actually,
That's
probably the best
awesome.
stage of the weekend.
It might have been because I was even looking at once again, I'm looking at my footage. I'm estimating it looks like I did personally. It looks like I did it around 40 seconds. If not, it was like a high. I think I actually had a high 30. It might have been like 38. I think you had like a 36 or 37, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Which is crazy. I think the fastest time I did was like 33 or something like that.
So that was I actually had the fastest time of the day.
Oh, did
Um
you really? Okay.
it did.
Maybe I
The
was
guy
thinking
was
about
like
the day prior. That's what
a
it
day before.
was.
Yeah, because they had the guy from Trigicon or from
Aim
Trigicon?
Point? I think it was Aim
Aim Point.
Point. I
Aim
don't
Point.
think Churchicon was here this
You're
year.
right. The guy from Aim Point, he was the guy that smoked it on that stage. But he also admitted he didn't retain any magazines. So
Gotcha. That makes a difference, man.
it does. You can go a lot faster without retaining magazines.
No kidding. But oh well. But I get it. It takes time to pick up mags afterwards, so they want to get you in and out. So I get it. I don't like it, but I get it. So, but yeah, that was the final stage today, and then afterwards we kind of started packing up and called it a day. So I'd say overall, I'm still very happy. I was still kind of shocked though. It still probably took a few hours before they were done because I know there are people still shooting.
Yeah.
So, but we still left at a somewhat decent time.
Yeah. The nice thing too was because all the canopies had blown away and you guys had tore those down, and then the people that followed up, they were able to clean up everything else that was out. So we were pretty much packed.
We were, I
So
know,
we got done, packed up, actually hung out for a little bit, and
I know. So I know for me personally, people are like, "How are you done packing already?" I'm like, "Cause I just threw all my stuff in my tote and called it a day. You guys are actually like taking things out, unloading, cleaning. Like I just threw it all. I didn't care. I'm like, I'll do that all at home. I
yeah,
want,
I
I want
I
to take a
thought about that.
shower. I'm
That's
not
fair.
saying you, but I was just saying that was me
No,
personally. So I
No,
wasn't
I
calling you
was
out, but
I'm
yeah.
always I'm always very meticulous about that
You
stuff.
are, which I highly, deeply respect about you in that way, which is why your stuff is gonna last longer than my
I don't know about
stuff.
that, but like that I would say
Bro,
though, like
I
I'm
throw my guns like your gun because I
yeah,
respect it because it's your gun, but you should have
yeah,
seen my AR, dude. I was like throwing my AR on the ground.
that's funny.
So
Yeah,
whatever. In a safe direction, people. Just
yeah.
saying. Big boy rules.
It was funny because everybody was kind of like I was still unloading stuff and putting things away, and everybody was like done. I'm like, how are you guys done?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to go as fast as I can, and just make sure everything is in its correct place. A lot of that I think is just out of like necessity to make sure I don't forget anything,
That's
or
fair.
put something where I'm not going to find it again.
I will admit, I
Um,
was like, I had like a slight like freak out panic thing where I was like, dude, my air because I had an air tag in like my rifle case, and it was showing me that it was still at the range, and we're like an hour away. I was like, oh, couldn't to find out it was just because like connection was so bad, and then like I remember putting in there, everyone saying like, yeah, you put it in there. We opened up the drill, I was like, oh, there it is, cool. So
yeah, I had the same thing because I had my night vision has an air tag in it, and when we were driving up, I would notice that if we would make a close enough turn, like it would pick up and it would re-register, and then whenever
mm-hmm.
we'd stop and get out, it would pick up again and register. But then every other time it was like, "Hey, you left this item behind at like so and so rest stop."
Dude,
I
I
was
know.
like, "No, I didn't."
Exactly. It's like, yeah, and then we turn around and we just see like the trailers open and everything's just gone, fell out,
I
just
know.
tumbled in the
Gee,
freeway. Could you imagine if that actually did happen?
that's nightmare fuel for me, man. Don't
Dude.
don't do that.
I'm sorry.
The first time we took the trailer going up there, I had just in my mind the whole time. I was like, "What happens if the back thing pulls out and everything comes out of the back of the
Did you
vehicle?"
really? Okay, I didn't even
I
think about
did,
that
but I
personally.
like it's personal problems, man. Like
That's
I always
fair. No,
imagine like the worst case
that's
scenario.
valid. I'll give that to you. That's fair.
Yeah.
Didn't you? But you actually, but you left a lot because you stayed in like the back room. You brought a lot of your stuff into that room, didn't you?
I did. That was
I
part of
sure did.
me mentally handling that problem by bringing it and leaving it back there.
That makes a lot of sense. I was actually curious about. I'm like, bro, we have a trailer. Why is it all back here?
Well, I had space, number one. I was like, well, it just makes it easier for people to get in and out, to get their stuff in and out of the trailer.
That's
I'm the
fair.
only one back here pretty much anyway, so I might as well. And that way I don't have to worry about it falling out the back of the trailer.
That is fair. I'll give that
Judge
to you.
as you want. That's
I
fine.
don't care. I was just curious. But all that said, it was a great year. I really enjoyed it. Do you have any closing thoughts?
No, it was a good year. We'll do another episode, I think, on just what makes a good match great. Because I would say this was a great match. A lot of that has to do with all the extracurricular items that we did when we weren't shooting the competition. There are a bunch of other things that were added on top of that.
Hmm.
It makes it feel almost um, like a fair, almost like um, a gun person fair, like a firearms enthusiast fair,
Oh,
right?
for sure. Yeah.
Where there's just a ton of stuff to do, and there's always like, again, you're either doing all those other fun items, which we'll talk about again, or you're at the fireplace, or you're making food, and the whole time you don't have cell service, so
I know.
it's you're just kind of reconnecting with like nature around you, talking to your buddies, having a good time. No,
I
it was
know.
another great match.
Yeah, I definitely needed it personally because Phil knows about this now, but there were some things going on in the background that I had to take care of, which was great that I didn't have cell service, but at the same time sucked I didn't have cell service
Right.
because there were things like that were very like urgent that I like needed to get done. So there was like a spot that I found like near like where the trenches area would be where I'd have like 0.1 megabytes of speed. That'll give me just enough to where I could take care of what I needed to do. So, but yeah, but after day one, it was like I'm like, all right, this is or at least like after because it was like beforehand, before the competition even started.
Yeah.
After that, I was able to kind of just put my phone down and really, if anything, I was just messaging my fiance. So was she my fiance yet at that point?
Yeah.
Yes, she was. Yeah, she was my fiance at that point. I did that on purpose because I knew I'd be traveling. So yeah, just make sure. Yeah, but all that to say, it was definitely good to just be in the middle of nowhere, man.
Yeah. And we left earlier on Thursday than we normally do, because the match
Mhm.
is Saturday, Sunday. Um, with the intention of arriving early Friday morning. We got permission. Actually, he suggested it. The match director was like, "Hey, you guys are coming a long distance. If you guys come in early, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Just pull in. And which we really appreciated.
Oh,
So
it's
that
huge.
gave us a little bit more time to decompress after all that travel. I don't remember the travel being nearly as bad this year as it was the year previous. We did kind of take turns rotating who had access to the like bed above the like cab on the way
Hmm.
there and back, so people could just pop up, take a nap, watch a movie, or whatever. And I think that worked out really well.
It was. There are times where I started getting a little car sick, so actually it was really nice just being up there, kind of just laying down,
Yeah,
and that helped a
absolutely.
ton for
Yep.
me personally. So, and I do know Brent even mentioned like obviously like the stuff's kind of up, but like if someone really wanted to, they could even find a way to lay down the bed in the back as well of the RV.
Right.
Just you'd have to like lay down diagonally, but either way, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, so I'd say it was great. So, what's your dad advice, man?
Dang it. I'm grossly unprepared for
Bro,
this dad
same.
advice.
That's why I'm asking you because I can't think of anything right now.
I'm always got it coming up with stuff on the spot. So here it goes. We'll talk about mindset. I know we've talked about this in the past. You're laughing, but that's what we talked about earlier in the episode. This year I didn't let last year let mindset impact me. Day one, I just had not a great rifle day last year, and cost me a ton of like time and places last year that it shouldn't have if I had been a little bit more like not letting it impact me. Day two, I kind of reset. It was fine. This year, I came into it knowing that I would be very careful around that. There's always outside like interference as well too from just things that are going on in your life, and people are impacted by different things in different ways, and people don't necessarily understand how others are impacted by that. But so they don't necessarily read that really well in other individuals. I made the conscious choice to not let that anything like external things bother me. And I
Hmm.
think that was a huge success as a result of this weekend, where it was just a great weekend of having just a ton of fun and not being distracted by like outside factors, right? And not letting myself have a bad stage and then have a bad match. So that is my dad advice is work on mastering mindset.
I love that. So I will definitely kind of add on to it. I can't remember if I spoke about this before, and if I have, I don't really care because this is definitely, I think, a really important advice. This comes from my mentor, Dr. Dave. He's got a doctorate. And it's kind of funny to think about. Like he has a doctorate in philosophy with an emphasis in manhood development. So he's got like a PhD in all of it. So he's a strengths coach. He's a pastor. He's in his 60s with a six pack who can bench like 315. It's actually really annoying. So, but one thing he talks about is the importance of not allowing the external to regulate you. As men, especially for us as men, it's really important for us to be able to kind of grow in our structure and our substance so this way we can handle the heat of life. He likes to use the imagery of having like a red solo cup versus like a Starbucks coffee cup versus like a ceramic mug, and how all three can hold a drink, but one doesn't handle the heat as well as the other. Like you put boiling hot water in a red solo cup, like that's gonna burn your hand. It could melt through if you're not careful. Like a hot Starbucks, like a hot I don't want to say Starbucks because I don't want them, but like a coffee cup, like one of those disposable cups, it can handle the heat, but then you can add the sleeve in to kind of help reinforce that structure. And then you have the ceramic cups, like cool, call it a day. Put as hot as water as you want, you're good to go. And but something he brought up was really important is like it's actually abusive. It's really like unfair and mean to put to try to expect someone who has a red solo cup mentality or maturity and give them boiling water because they
Mm-hmm.
cannot handle it. So
Mm-hmm.
it's being able to help that person to grow in that area to get towards that ceramic mug. So this way you're creating that structure, that bones, so you can actually handle the stressors, the fires, the all of that of life. So it's just so important to not allow the negatives around you to regulate you. And it goes back to what you're talking about with mindset. I know Dr. Deloney talks about how for him, he's a Christian, but he kind of talks about how psychologically negative things impact us more because evolutionary, in terms of back then, a negative thing could mean life or death because it could be something that's trying to kill you. So because of that, subconsciously, we're thinking, "Oh, a negative thing can kill us." We could have 100 good things, but then one negative thing, we're constantly thinking about it. I think of one example. We had this was maybe a month ago. We had our double service launch at our church, and we had like 10 baptisms or something like that. It was awesome. And then I realized something according to the pictures. You know what that is, Phil?
Do you want me to say it, Tyler?
You know it. You know the answer. What happened to me, Phil?
The barn house door was wide open.
Uh huh. My fly was down. It was straight down. Thankfully, only there are only 3 pictures of it, but it was to a point where I'm like, "You are kidding me." And the funny thing is, like, I realized it like that day afterwards. Like, I was walking with my fiance, girlfriend at the time, because I proposed later that day, and I'm like, I looked down, I was like, "Oh my goodness, my fly is down." I'm like, "Please don't tell me that it was happening during baptisms." And then when I got the professional picture sent by, I was like, "You are kidding me, it is down." So of course, it's all in my mind, but for me, I was like, "You know what? It already happened. I'm just gonna laugh about it." We had 10 baptisms. It was an amazing day. It was awesome, record high numbers. It's fine. So, but all that to say, don't let the externals. So it was really an add-on to what you're talking about with mindset, but don't allow the
Right.
externals to affect you,
And make sure you check your fly.
bro. The amount of times I usually check my fly, but for some reason I just forgot. Don't know why.
Yeah, it happens to the best of us, and it's funny
Hmm.
because, like, from an inward perspective, you're like, "Oh, this is super embarrassing, terrible." Like everyone's gonna think I'm stupid and hate me. But everyone else is like, "Yeah, I've been there before." It's
Oh yeah.
relatable, right?
Oh
And they're
my
like
goodness, big time.
people just brush it off and don't really
No,
care, even
not
though
one
you'll.
person said anything
Yeah,
to me because I don't even think anyone noticed.
no, I didn't notice. Of
No, it
course,
was
I was
why it's
like,
yeah.
I'm not like paying attention to that either. So,
Yeah,
but
exactly. Yeah.
awkward. Um,
Oh, you want to close this out?
Yeah. Again, just to say, a great match again this year. Great job, team. We brought 8 or 7 shooters this year. Of the 7, 4 of us finished in the top 20, which is fantastic.
Oh my
So mad
goodness, yeah.
props to the 4 individuals that did that. And then the other
Well,
3 people had a great match as well too.
one of them would
So
have broke top 15 if he didn't have issues at the very end where I think he had like 4
yeah,
FTEs, 5 FTEs because of it.
yeah,
That
equipment
sucks.
challenge.
Yeah.
Yep. Still made top 20 though.
Oh, for sure.
Um, Anyway, so another great match. Thanks for listening to this podcast. If you haven't already, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. We are available on any of your favorite podcasting platforms, as well as uploading this automatically to YouTube. You can also follow us on the Firearms Radio Network as well on their main feed. If maybe that's probably where you're listening to this at. If you are, thank you. If you want to, feel free to email us with any questions or comments, podcast@acceptableaccuracy.com. We've got, again, a couple episodes coming up here about what makes a good match a great match next, but I think I want to do another one of those like head-to-head things like we did before, Tyler. Those tend to be pretty popular. So,
It's been a while since we've done a headset. Why don't we could do that in the next one, if not
yeah,
definitely an
we'll do like
upcoming one.
like a quiz. Maybe we'll skip like the next, like we don't like over zombie people.
Nah.
Anyway, follow us on the gram of Instas, on YouTube,
I
Facebook, all that stuff. Did I miss anything, Tyler?
think that's it. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening, and we will see you at the next episode. Bye, everybody.
Bye.